back to the reading vlog. I am absolutely melting. It is way too warm here, which is why I haven't checked in with you before now. It's just too warm to, be productive and do anything. I'm not made for this temperature. And yeah, I can't wait for summer to be over, hopefully soon, which won't be soon, but one can hope. But I did continue with Snow Crash, which I told you about at the end of last vlog. I am now 200 pages in, which isn't quite halfway through the book. And I have to be really honest, I am a little bit disappointed in myself. I don't love it. I think it's pretty boring up until now. Like, the first 200 pages aren't that interesting, which is kind of confusing because, it sounded so interesting, but like the Snow Crash, the drug, which the book is about, has been mentioned only twice, and only one person has taken it, which we know of. And yeah, it only starts to come into the book right now, which is a lot of like, introduction of the world and stuff. And yeah, I felt it to be a little bit boring for the first 100 pages. So hopefully the pace will pick up for the rest of the book. But yeah, I'm not that hopeful that I would love it anymore, which is really disappointing because I really thought I would love it. But yeah, turns out maybe it's not the sci-fi for me. But yeah, we'll find out. Also, I finished an audiobook over the weekend. I'm gonna put the cover in here so you can see the title. I forgot how it's called, but it was I think it's called Tiny Traumas, actually. It's a book about tiny traumas and what they do with you, and what they make you feel, and how they kind of shape you a little bit, and what you can do to overcome those tiny traumas. And even though it was interesting, there wasn't really anything groundbreaking in there. It was all just really like, oh, that's kind of logical stuff. So I gave it 3 stars because, to be honest, I don't think that most people will take that much away from the book. Like, I had really high hopes in the beginning, but yeah, the more I read of the book, the less hope I had to take anything like new away from the book. And yeah, it was actually that in the end. I didn't take anything away from the book. So yeah, that is the reading over the last few days. Goal for this week is to finish this book and then maybe start another one, but I'm not totally sure because it's gonna be this warm the whole week as far as I know. And yeah, I'm not the best with dealing with the heat, and so who knows how my reading will be going, We'll see. Okay, so I made quite a bit of progress in Snow Crash, and I can't really tell you why, but I am not getting into this book. I don't know why the story is just not like gripping me at all, which is really sad. I think the concept of the story is really interesting. I just don't think that the writing style is for me. I think that is the main problem. Like, the way it is told, I think, is just not working for me, and so I'm just really low. I'm just more of like an onlooker instead of being into the story, which I find really sad. I really love it when I can just dive into the story. But yeah, with this one, I'm sadly not. I am at page 320, so the goal for tomorrow is to somehow finish it. I have no idea if I will be able to, but that is the goal for tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's just not the book for me. I like the concept. It's of the snow crash, of the drag, and the story we get told. I just don't like how it gets told, and yeah, it's really it varies between long and short chapters, but like, we switch characters constantly, and I also think we kind of switch like a few hours before, a few hours later, stuff like that, without it ever being told. At least it reads like that. And yeah, I don't know. I can't get into the writing style, and so I can't really enjoy the book. And yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised, actually. I thought I would love the book, but instead, yeah, it's more like a 3-star read because it's really not bad, but it's also not anything I would read again, if I'm honest. So yeah, I don't know.
The story is really interesting. I won't spoil you anything, even though it's an old book, because this one is the 30th anniversary edition. But yeah, I won't spoil you anything. I think that kind of destroys the story for this book because you really only get the critical information like later on in the book. But yeah, I don't know. It's not the book for me, which I'm incredibly sad about. I wanted to love the book and I'm not. But I'm making my way through it. Today it's just way too warm. We have like really big thunderstorms throughout the day, so it's like being really humid and warm, and then it cools down with the thunderstorms and it gets really warm again. I mean, I can complain about the weather every day at the moment, but it's I don't like it. And yeah, so that is pretty much mostly what I've done. I'm also knitting a sweater right now, which is probably the wrong weather to knit a sweater, but I want to have it once fall comes around, so I'm working on that one, which I have to show you tomorrow because it's upstairs and I don't want to go up now. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing that really happened today. I read like, I don't know, 170 pages or something like that. I don't even know. I have no idea where I started today, but I do know that I read more than 100 pages today. So now I will just watch YouTube videos and chill a little bit, and then it's off to bed and up for work tomorrow morning. And then I will see you tomorrow with like my final thoughts on Snow Crash, because I will get through that tomorrow somehow. Let's have a little chat about today's reading. I finished two books, one book and a graphic novel. I read the second issue of Horizon Zero Dawn. Though I have to say, I'm not entirely sure if it is the second issue. I feel like it was really hard to find on Goodreads, but my library like says it is the second issue. I have no idea. As far as I can see, there's like a collection and then the issues, but on Goodreads, the one I've read was listed at 1.2, which I have no idea what is that supposed to mean. Like they're all like issues that were published singularly, but I think there's also like a collection, and so technically it's in the first collection. So yeah, I don't know, but I finished that one. I gave it 4 stars. I really like these graphic novels. I will have to go look them up on the internet and see if I can buy myself the collection, because I do really enjoy them. I love the game. Well, the two games. I have all of the achievements in them. I love them so much. I also did an Alo cosplay once. And yeah, I can't wait for the Lego Aloy Horizon game, But yeah, I finished that. And then I also finished Snow Crash, and I am disappointed, I have to say. Yeah, I finished this one. It is really disappointing. I kind of don't get the hype around it. It's not really hype in general, but it's like, once I've read like the Kaiju Preservation Society, where John Scalzi really like gushed about this one, and yeah, I'm really disappointed about this one. I didn't like the characters. I couldn't get into the story. There was too much explanation, too little action actually happening, and then there were really quite a few storylines like that ran into nothing. Um, the book was just too long, in my opinion, as well. You could have done the book in like 200 pages less, and it wouldn't have hurt the book, actually. And yeah, all of the characters feel really weird. Like, none of them really grow throughout the story, which I think is kind of important, that the characters at least like grow a little bit and like, not stay static, even though it does kind of talk about a relatively short amount of time in the book. But yeah, I don't know, I find it really weird. I did like the concept of the story, but like how it's done, it didn't work for me, and so I gave it 2 stars in the end. I wanted to give it 3 stars, but I kind of can't really do that, because I feel like it's really not good enough for that. I feel like there's too little that I actually liked about the book. It just wasn't for me. A little bit disappointing, because I had really high hopes for the book. But yeah, I don't know. I talked to my husband yesterday, and I was like, when I read the blurb of the book, I thought there would be a lot of like sword fighting in the book, with the katanas, because our main character, hero, he has the swords with him everywhere, and he really does incredibly little sword fighting in the game, in the book, which I'm really disappointed about because I wanted sword fighting and I didn't get it, which was disappointing. But yeah, that is pretty much what I've read so far. I don't know if I will read anything else today because, to be honest, I read like 200 pages of Snow Crash and then 50 pages of the graphic novel, so I'm not really in the mood to continue reading today. So I might just stick to watching videos and knitting. And so I wanted to show you what I'm knitting currently. I need to put the microphone somewhere. Hopefully that works. It doesn't look like, oh well, it is what it is. So this is what I'm currently knitting. I have the top part already done. It's like a cropped, I don't know, square neck, boat neck sweater that I'm doing. And so yeah, I did the front and the back, and I already connected them, to be able to make sure it fits. I wanted to make it longer initially, but I kind of forgot while knitting it, so it has gone short again. But I love my crop tops, so it's not really that much of a problem. It's completely of cotton, which feels really nice, so I'm really happy with that. And then I'm currently I'm working on the first arm, which I'm doing from the bottom up, and then I sew it onto the body, But yeah, I'm knitting this one. I'm making the pattern up as I go along. I did a similar one out of wool, which I really, really love, but wool is so warm, and yeah, I can only really wear it in winter or in fall and spring as an outer piece. So yeah, I wanted one that was a little bit more warmer weather friendly, like warmer weather, where it's like a little bit windy. So yeah, that is what I will continue in a minute while I will just watch YouTube videos, whatever will come to mind. I do enjoy like fixing electronics videos. I have no interest in doing it myself, but the videos are really, really interesting. So yeah, I might do that. And yeah, the heat is still a problem here. It's not nice. I had to buy myself a few new summer tops because it turns out, I had like a phase where I had some brands that I bought from, mostly Killstar and Disturbia, which I love the style of the clothing, don't get me wrong, but they use, especially Killstar, they use a lot of like synthetic fibers and they don't feel great in summer, and most of my summer tops are polyester, which does not feel nice. So yeah, I had to go online and buy a few cotton tops. So hopefully they will come tomorrow, and then I'm set for the rest of summer. So yeah, that is kind of the update for today. I don't know with which book I will continue tomorrow. Well, you will see. It's yeah, what I'm thinking. But I do think I'm making good progress through my TBR, which I'm really, really happy about. Even though I'm still not like, I'm wishing for a 5-star read, but I don't know. I'm bad at choosing books at the moment, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. The next time I pick up books, I want to go more into horror because I'm really in the mood for a good horror book, but I don't seem to have one here at the moment. So I will look into that. And yeah, I will see you probably tomorrow afternoon, depending on when I feel not melting enough to check in with you. Okay, let's have a quick little chat. It is Friday afternoon, and I have some reading updates, some just talking points I want to get out. But yeah, let's start with the reading updates. During my workout today, I read the third Horizon Zero Dawn issue, so the 1.3
volume of Horizon Zero Dawn. I gave it 4 stars again. I really love that graphic novel series. They're just so short, you know. But yeah, it's really nice to get like the side story of, oh, I forgot her name. I'm really bad with names, but the Sunhawk is currently the Sunhawk. Um, After like the first game and the guy she meets by traveling, we get pretty much their side story in the graphic novels, which I really love because I don't think you actually get the complete story in the games. You just get told it afterwards pretty much, but not in so much detail. So it's really, really nice and I really enjoy those. So yeah, I read the third one, finished that one, and then I started a book, and that was the reason why I cancelled my Illumicrate. So let's have a little chat about it. I started the Curse of Saints. I started the Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas, and I am. Let me look. I'm just 20 pages in, but it already starts like all of the other books. And you know, I was sitting upstairs and I was thinking about the book and about how I'm already annoyed that it starts so similarly to all the other ones. You know, we have a female main character and she's like this cool, not really an assassin, but she's like the inner guard of the queen, and she has some special abilities and she uses her body combined with these abilities to trick people, and then we get to know her enemy, frenemy, whatever you want to call it. She works with him, but she doesn't like him, and they're only bickering and like really dumb bickering, and it starts like all of these books. And so I finally pulled the trigger and I cancelled my Illumicrate fantasy box. I do still get the Evernight box, the horror book box, because I really love those books. It's a nice box to get and it's relatively cheap. But yeah, Illumicrate also, they had to rise the shipping prices, but I already pay so much for the box and I don't love the box. I pretty much only got it for the merch at this point, if we're gonna be honest. Yeah, so I was sitting upstairs and I was thinking, like, you know, for the price I pay for the box, I could buy myself 3 other books that I'm much more likely to enjoy. So why am I paying still for the box, you know? So I canceled it. It hurts me a little bit because I do enjoy getting the surprises, but I don't think there's any like way I can justify it to myself to spend that money, where I could spend the money, you know, on books I much rather read. And yeah, I do think I will start looking for another box. If maybe I find one. I did start looking a little bit today, but I couldn't find one, because I don't want one that comes from America, because that is also really expensive to ship here. So the UK or something else would be way better. I don't want a German box, which would be the most sensible, let's be honest, but I do want the books in their original language. And because most of the authors I do read come from either America or an English speaking country, just in general. Obviously, I would need an English book box, and that is not really doable from Germany itself. So I would need one from the UK most likely. But yeah, I haven't found one yet. I will likely look further, but I doubt I will find one so quickly. I am on the wait list for, I think, the Fairy Loot. They will do an epic fantasy book box coming middle of next year, I think. So I'm on the wait list for that one. Hopefully I can get that one because that sounds fantastic. But yeah, so I thought of this one. I will probably slowly continue with this one because, you know, I don't hate it. I'm just not excited to read it. So I need to pick out a new book. So let's pick out a new book. Okay, you can see me. Please excuse the outfit. Technically it's too warm to wear this, but I wanted something cozy, so we're gonna ignore that. I have 4 books still on my TBR. And I'm thinking, you know what, let's go with Warbreaker. No, let's go with the book I'm the least excited about, because I kind of want to just get some clarification on the series. So let's go with the Fire Eyes, a novel of the Numa Files. This is the third book in the Numa Files series by Clive Cussler. So let's go with that one. This is something about ships, because they all are about sunken ships. So yeah, I think read this one now. Then I have I have Warbreaker and Catching Fire. Called Catching Fire? Yeah, Catching Fire left then, and The Winds of Fate by Mercedes Lackey. I still haven't continued with that one, but I don't know. I got in the beginning and then I kind of lost interest. I don't know really why. We'll see. But yeah, let's start with this one tonight and then we'll see how far I can come tomorrow. I am really like motivated to read right now. So, I have a few hours left before the evening is over. So, let's see how far I can come and then I will check in with you before I go to bed. Just so you have an update on how this starts. Okay, let's have a last check-in. It is Saturday midday now. I forgot what time it is, but my partner just went out with the dog for the afternoon walk, which I stayed home because I'm really tired because I didn't sleep more or less at all tonight because it was really really windy. If you live in an apartment high up, which we live in the 14th on the 14th floor. Well, technically it's the 15th because we have like our apartment building is like on stilts pretty much because of how the area is. But yeah, we live really really high up and the winds can get really really loud here. I don't know how people in New York and stuff do it where they have like 40 floors up, but yeah, it was loud. The dog was really really unsettled because of it for some reason, and yeah, he kept me up the whole night. So I got up in the middle of the night and I completely read Fire and Ice because I can't sleep, so why not read? Yeah, I now understand the Numa Files a little bit more, which is nice because I was really confused with the first book I've read from the series. And our main character, which is Kurt Austin, or like the main character that is written on the book, did have a little bit more of a role in this book. But yeah, so far as I can see it, like all of these books are pretty much America against Russian people. And our main character is like an undercover CSI guy who works officially for Numa, and they just deal with underwater stuff with like seismic activity, bringing shipwrecks up from the sea bottom and all of that stuff. And there's always an adventure. This time around, there is a news reporter who is supposed to do like a bit for like a mystery TV show about the Ark, but they aren't really interested in that, and they get a map to like a U-boat. What is to submarine base, and yeah, they get onto Russian territory, and things pretty much go from there. We have like time jumps. We have time jumps in the book from like the beginning of the 19th century and then the current times in the book, which I don't really know what current times time-wise there is, but yeah, I think it's the 90s maybe or the 2000s, something like that. And the Cossacks have something to do with the story, and yeah, I don't really want to tell you the story. I think with these books it's always kind of bad to have spoilers because obviously the whole story hinges upon you not knowing what is going to happen, but there's a lot of conflict, and our main character Kurt is just really incredibly good at his job. And he brings them all through the story, you know. I give it 3 stars. It's just your basic adventure novel, pretty much, but like filled with a lot of like spies and politics, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And then we have a lot of like boat scenes, underwater scenes, all of that stuff, you know. And it's pretty much always Russia against the USA. So that is pretty much what is going on here. And yeah, I don't dislike them. I think they're pretty basic, to be honest. But I don't think I can complain about the series. Which is good because I have a whole lot more of these to read. So yeah, but I finished the third one in the series, so I have read the second and the third one, just simply because I don't own the first one and I don't really want to buy it, you know. But yeah, that means I have one more book down from my TBR, which is amazing, and I will start the next one tomorrow. I have no idea what yet. I have 3 fantasies and Catching Fire left. So I will probably go with one of the fantasies, but you will have to come back for next week's vlog to find that out. And yeah, that is kind of a good end for the week. I did a lot of reading this week, I felt like, which is nice. The books still aren't super great, but that's also fine. Well, except for the graphic novels, but that isn't that hard, you know. But yeah, that is kind of the last check-in for this vlog. I do hope you enjoyed this week, and hopefully I will see you next week for whatever book I will choose next. Thank you for watching.